The Ayurvedic approach to stress management has two components to it, and the first component is to find out what are the stressors, like what are the components or aspects that actually cause the stress. And the second aspect to stress management in Ayurveda, to effective stress management in Ayurveda, is to find out which area of the body or mind is affected through those stressors. So, for example, if you work on a computer on a daily basis for long hours, this has an effect on the mind. And it's a different situation, for example, if you suffer from stress because of a loss of a friend or family member or a relative. And then the other possibility would be stress because of the fact that you're either unable to move your body or you have overstressed your body. In a sense, you have maybe done too much of physical exercise. So in my consultation, for example, with my patients, I firstly determine through pulse analysis and through the initial assessment what are the stressors, the stress factors, and secondly, which area is mostly affected. And based on that, I then design a plan of what suits best for my patients. And my aim is always to try to encourage and self-empower my patients. That means finding ways and means of how they can deal with stress themselves rather than depending on me as a practitioner. Which basically means I encourage them to stay and play rather than fight or flight. And what I mean by that is to give them an understanding or tools of how they can handle the stress. For example, take the example again of excess computer work and the effect on the mind. One of the things that I could be recommending is simply to apply sesame oil on the soles of the feet, which really takes the heat, the attention from the mind, diverts it to different other parts of the body. Or if there is emotional stress due to anxiety or loss of family members, for example, there could be a recommendation of application of essential oils such as sandalwood, which has a very cooling effect. And when it comes to stress because of physical exhaustion, of course rest is one of the first things that would be recommended. But then on the other hand, there could also be recommendation of stimulation if the person hasn't been using their body appropriately. So all those various components can be taken into consideration. And again, in summary, it's about finding out what suits the person individually. It's not so much about what would work from my perspective, but making it work for the patient, which is really essential when it comes to stress management. From an Ayurvedic perspective, stress influences mainly or mostly our digestive system, which basically means the way our body is able to absorb the nutrients, to digest the food that we consume, and then thirdly, how the body is able to build our bodily tissues. So when we are in stressful situations, one of the first aspects that a patient is challenged with, or we all are challenged with, is the impact on our digestive system. And in Ayurveda, you would then of course look at eliminating those stressors, but at the same time correct metabolism through simple techniques such as diet, lifestyle, meditation or mind-body approaches to stress management such as meditation and yoga, plus Ayurvedic therapies if required.